Today our church celebrates the feast day of Saint Emilianos. The following are some thoughts on his life and works. Emilianos was a slave who had earned the respect of the family for whom he toiled, largely because his Christian training had taught him patience and tolerance. Although he lived in the era of Julian the Apostate, an avowed enemy of Jesus Christ, Emilianos was allowed his Christian beliefs and observances and was free to mingle with other Christians when he was not needed at home. He accepted slavery as his lot in life, but he could not abide the pagan idolatry all around him. He deplored the cruel persecution of his fellow Christians that was the rule in the Julian era, rather than the exception. Emilianos managed to elude military details formed to round up Christians from time to time, but not content with this, he fell in with a group of Christians who struck back at their pursuers in the only way left to them. Instead of lying in ambush to kill the patrols that were seeking them, they awaited the proper time and went to pagan temples to destroy the stone idols. This action only served to step up the roundup of Christians for the arena. But the pendulum swung both ways. The Christian band of Emilianos intensified its own efforts, bringing destruction and ruin to temples and idols throughout the city. During one of the Christian forays on temples, Emilianos and his friends were seized by a Roman patrol that had been alerted by one of the many spies. Emilianos managed to escape, however, and took to the hills for safety until the fury of the Romans was spent. Conscience-stricken because he was the only one to make it to freedom, he sought the help of influential friends to obtain the release of his group. But failing that, he decided he must share their fate. He went directly to the provincial governor, Vicarius, to admit his part in the destruction of the idols, a noble act of sacrifice to which the authorities paid scant notice. Emilianos and his friends were put to death without trial on the 18th of July, 391 AD. This would have been a routine, wholesome slaughter, with every victim remembered as a devout Christian who served a not-so-unusual saint and nothing more, except for an incident which followed many years later. A merchant ship bound for the island of Spetses encountered a violent storm which so battered the vessel that it lost its rudder. It was about to founder in heavy seas when out of nowhere a youthful-looking figure appeared at the seemingly destroyed tiller and skillfully piloted the vessel through the treacherous currents to the safety of the harbour of Spetses. Once there, the figure vanished, and it was observed that the rudder was still damaged and in need of repair before going to sea again. There was no way a human hand could have manned a damaged steering device, but there was also no way of determining just whose hand got them to safety. The captain of the ship was certain that it was the hand of God that had saved him and his crew, but the instrument of the Lord who stood on the deck of his foundering ship that stormy day was identified only after the captain returned to his Peloponnesian home port. It was there that he saw an icon of Saint Emilianos, the image of the young man who had appeared on his ship. The ship's master lost no time in erecting a chapel to the memory of Saint Emilianos. On both the mainland and on the island of Spetses, the feast day of Saint Emilianos on July the 18th is observed with festivity and solemnity. This is a special tribute since Saint Nicholas is the acknowledged patron saint of mariners and travellers. That being the case, the one-time slave stands alongside the great Saint Nicholas in reverence.